Okay, so we're starting to stream for the Hoylake Computer Club. I've decided to start having a play about doing some development stuff. I've installed a copy of Ubuntu server. I've also installed Docker and Portainer to manage Docker containers on that Ubuntu server. So we're able to kind of do a bit of stuff on here. Now the idea here is to kind of get some sort of development up and running, and hopefully it should be able to be used to build projects and all sorts of stuff. So there's going to be a few different things I'm going to be installing on here. Initially I'm thinking something like if I go to linuxservers.io, maybe it's linuxserver.io, not servers. This is a place that's got a bunch of community images for different operating systems with a bunch of stuff on them. So if I look on the fleet, it's got all these different things. It's got Blender, it's got Audacity, but it's also got a code server here. So we can actually use this code server. It's a Docker container, and we can use it basically like a web version of VS Code. So it means we can make projects and code them up in VS Code if we want to. So what I'm going to do is take this, copy it. Now, there's a couple of things I want to do to this because it's got sort of these different sort of bits here for the Docker CLI and stuff. So see this PID, PGID and all this, I need to fill these in somewhere. So first I'm going to add a container. I'm going to give it a name of code server, and I'm going to paste the code server Docker link there. Now, a couple of things. I want to publish a new network port. So if I take a look at the network ports, what it's telling me, it's currently using 8443. So I'm going to publish 8443. So 8443. 8443. Now, I also want to use a volume. Now, I've already created a volume, so I can map additional volume. Map it to /config. Select the volume, and I want my code server data. I also want some environmental variables. So if we have a look on here, where's it gone? Let's close that one because that's making it awkward. These are the anything with a -e is the environmental variable. So it looks like we've got a PUID, a PGID, TZ, password, sudo password, and default workspace that I want to use. So let's go put those in. So PUID, that's 1000. PGID is also 1000. Then we've got the time zone, which I'm going to use Europe London, just fill in whichever one makes sense for you. Then we've got password. For now I'm just going to use code server. Default workspace of config workspace. And then I'm going to put a sudo password as the same thing, code server. And I think that'll do for it. Let's double check. That looks okay. We've got an unless stop for the restart sort of thing, so we could do this one as well. Let's have a look at this. Where are we? Restart policy. So for the restart policy, we want unless stop. Is it always or unless stopped? Let's have a look. Unless stopped. So let's use what they're using, unless stopped. So let's have a look. It's got a little bit more on their version of this though. If I take a look here, let's say this one's LSCR thingy. Let's use the whole of this just in case. Paste that in there. Right, so now what I can do is deploy the container. So let's click on deploy. So it's running the code server already. How cool is that? So all this is going to be, it's going to be the same IP address, so 192.168.0.114, but now it's going to be 8443. So let's try that. Let's say 192.168.0.104:8443. We're in config workspace. We've got a basic Python app there, so let's delete that for a minute. So now we've got this thing here. We can add a few different things. I mean, at the moment we've got it set up for Python development, but what I'd like to do is maybe set it up for JavaScript development as well and other things. So at this point I can add extensions here. We've got Python extensions. We could search for more extensions and so on and so forth as well. Let's actually try that. Let's say JavaScript. So we've got some JavaScript one. If I look for ES7, let's see if there's ES7. ES7 plus React Redux, that'll do. Let's install that. Is there anything else interesting? Let's delete that. So now I want to open up a terminal. New terminal. Let's say that we want to do a sudo apt update and a sudo apt upgrade -y. Code server. There we go. It's going around doing its updating all the sources, and then it's going to do an upgrade of any out of date stuff. It's Ubuntu Jammy, basically. So whilst that's doing, I'm going to have a look how to install Node.js in Ubuntu Jammy. There we go. Before you begin, blah blah blah. Yep. Looks like it's just sudo apt install. So I don't know what version it's expecting to have. Installing specific versions. Well, there's 16. I don't necessarily want 16. I want something newer. That's not very useful, is it? Wow. Okay, let's see if we can install Node.js like at least 18. Tutorial. Why not? Consent to that. So now we can grab the actual correct parts. So let's do that. Let's copy that. Looks like that's updated. So I'm going to paste this in. Or not, apparently. That's lovely. Let's try again. Copy. Paste. Doesn't like paste. Okay. If I do control, okay, so I can use Control Shift V to paste it. Let's do a curl there. Looks like it's installing, doing its things. Successfully apt install Node.js. There we go. So sudo apt install Node.js -y. Good so far. See about npm as well, see if that came down with it or whether we have to actually install it as well. Looks good so far, but we'll find out in a moment. Node-v 18 npm-v 10. Okay, so it's in there. We've got node and npm. So in theory, we've got enough to build out some Node.js applications. Do we have Git installed as a standard thing? It looks like we do. That's a good sign. So we have Git, we've got Node.js, we've got Python? No. So sudo apt install Python 3. Oh, did I actually have to just type in Python 3 instead? Okay. That's fine. So we've got Python, we've got Node.js. Do we have GCC installed on here? No. Okay. I was just wondering. So at the moment we can technically do Python and JavaScript applications and stuff like that. It'd be quite interesting to see a Flask application or something here, wouldn't it? Let's have a think. So what is it I want to build right now? I'm going to just make a simple hello world express application. So I'm going to do npm init -y to initialize a npm sort of thing. Touch dot git ignore. Then what I'll do is I'll edit the git ignore to ignore any node modules. Let's see. We'll do a npm install of express. Now that we've got that, I'll make a new file called server.js. Check the package JSON. Let's change that to start. And the start we're going to do is something like node server.js. We'll change that to server.js as the entry point. Save that. So that looks all good so far. Let's see if we can run it. It's got no play button, so we've got no JavaScript runner, so I'm going to have to just do npm run start. Okay, that's good. So it doesn't matter. So next what I need to do is actually import express. So I'll say const express equals require express. Then we'll create a new app. So const app is equal to express. And we'll do an app.get, giving it just a giving it some speech marks to start with. And then we'll just do a request response, and we'll do that as an arrow function, and we'll do a res.send and just send hello from express. So that should pretty much be close to what we want. I'm going to make a new const port equals, let's say 3000, and then we'll listen on that port basically. So I'll do a app.listen, giving it the port, and then we'll make a little callback, console.log starting on port, and then we'll use some string interpolation to pass in the port. There we go. Super simple hello world. Express. Missed out an S in Express. So in theory now we should be able to do the same again, run start, and now it's started on port 3000, open in browser, and hello from Express. How cool is that? We've now got a nice little sort of thing there. Hello from Express. How awesome is that? So in theory we could change this to hello from Express 2. Save this, and then we need to rerun the server, and we'll refresh that, and now it's updated. Okay. What we could do is we could add a dev dependency of nodemon. So if I do npm i-d nodemon, add that as a dev dependency. Now if I edit the package JSON, instead of saying node server, maybe I want to, instead of start, I'll have a dev. Now I'll do nodemon server.js. So now if I do an npm run dev, we're running with nodemon. So every time I make a change to the server file, let's just run it anyway. Let's open in browser. That's great. But now anytime I make a change to this, so if I change this back to an exclamation point, save it, it reruns the server for us, so it knows the change. So now we just do that, and it's all done. So we don't have to stop and start the server every 2 minutes. So we've now got the ability to build out some sort of API. Let's think. Let's think. Quotes, maybe. We'll make a quotes table. Thinking I want to try this. Let's think about installing SQLite 3. Oh, sorry, SQLite 3. So once we've installed that, I want to make something else. What else am I going to use? So I'm going to want to import SQLite 3 as well. So const, oops, that's a bit strange. Const SQLite 3 is equal to require SQLite 3. But I need it in verbose mode, so we'll put dot verbose. Then we're going to connect to the SQLite database. Let's have a look. We'll say const db is equal to a new SQLite 3.database. Then we can give it a file name. Let's call it dev.db for now. That'll do. And then we're going to create a quotes table to hold some random quotes. db.serialize. and that takes in the callback. I'm going to do a db.run, and I need to give it some sort of a thing. So I want to create table if not exists, and the table's quotes. I want it to have an ID, which is an integer. What else do I want? Actually, that's going to be its primary key, isn't it? So let's say primary key, and I want it to auto increment. Then I want the text of type text as well. And I think that should be enough to get it sort of to do what I want it to do. Let's see, so I'll close that off and then literally do that. So once we've done that, I want to maybe insert some data into that as well, but let's just do this first. If I do that, yeah, I'm gonna have it so it does some more stuff now. So I want to const. I want to instantiate some preparation stuff and finalize some data into the database. So I'll do a statement is equal to db.prepare insert into quotes where the text is going to have a value let's think. Text is going to have a value of question mark for now, and we'll add that in. So we're going to do an insert, so I'm just prepping that, and then we can do a statement of we can run that statement. So I can say statement dot run, and we can just start inserting these quotes in. Let's see, I need some quotes. Let's say a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Okay. Let's see. Let's do another statement. Dot run. Let's say that life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. I think I'll capitalize the A there for that sentence as well. Okay, so there's a couple of quotes. There's not many, but now I'll finalize it, and that'll write it in there. So that'll do. That's just kind of started up the database and got it to do some stuff. Next, I want to be able to fetch all quotes. So I want not just a slash, I want a slash quotes. So let's do that. So slash quotes. And to do this, I want to do a db dot all. So grab all of the things. I'm going to select star from quotes. Then a callback after that with the error and the rows. Let's make that an arrow function. If there is an error, then I'm going to set the status to 500. Set the JSON to let's say error err.message. Clean this up a bit. I may need to do some more imports for this, I don't know, we'll see. Let's see, so that's done that. And then return. Okay, if it doesn't error though, I want to basically then do a res.json pros, which then means I don't need to do this send here. I can go. There we go. So now we've got a simple quotes sort of thing where it just goes and gives us all the quotes at the moment, right? So I'll save that. Let's run our npm run dev. SQLite error. App crashed, waiting for return. Okay, interesting. Error event on statement instance at incomplete import. What did I miss here? I've done something. It made the dev DB. That's a good sign. I must have not closed something off. We've got the dev DB. We've done a dev serialize. That's there. We've done a create table if not exists. Quotes ID integer, primary key, auto increment, and then text. Did I? Text. Come on. There we go. Text. Aha! I can see what I've done wrong. That needed closing. I didn't actually close that one. Let's save that. We're still crashing. Near value syntax error now. I must have missed another thing. I forgot to close something. Insert into value. Text into value. Insert into quotes. Text. Oh, values. I'm not pluralizing, damn it. There we go. Sorry about that. Now open in browser. Cannot get the slash, but that's fine. We were not expecting to. Quotes. Text. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, and then life is what happens when you're busy making other plans. So we've managed to sort of like build out a hello world Express SQLite 3, Express server, and then we've kind of added the ability to have a database and actually kind of read the content of the database table on an endpoint. That's not a bad starting position. Yeah. So in essence, we kind of have the start of an API. Maybe we could turn this into like a random quote generation API. All I really need at this point is to kind of randomly choose something from the random quote. And luckily we can order it by random and just grab one. So let's have a look at that. So I can do something similar from the select. It's going to be similar sort of concept. So we're going to take this actual thing here, copy that, make it another one, quotes / random. This one, select all quotes from quotes, and then we'll order by random with a limit of 1. So it's basically just randomly grab one. So we still want that error to happen, and we still want to give back the rows, but it's not going to be rows, it's going to be a single row that we're expecting now. So let's take away the S just to make it a bit clearer as to what we're doing. Like so. Save that. Okay, so now if I change that a little bit and have quotes / random, and I do that a few times, interesting sort of concept there. Seems to have sort of done its thing there. That's pretty cool. So now we've got random quotes. The only thing is there's only 2 quotes in there, so we could kind of like add a few more. Now what would be quite interesting is if we was, let's just do this anyway. Let's list of random quotes. Somebody's already got. There's lots of ads on here. I'm going to close this off because I don't want ads on this screen, so I'm going to. What I'm going to do, I'm going to copy and paste a bunch of quotes. I'll comma separate the quotes and do this. I'm just going to copy and paste a bunch with this, copy that. I'm going to stop the server for a moment. I'm going to delete the database so it doesn't exist just yet, because I'm going to replace these. Instead of running that stuff there, what I'm going to do is copy the quotes over. Trying to think. Still want to make the table if it doesn't exist. I want to do that anyway. Then we can prepare the quote thing and get rid of this. So I don't want that just yet. What I do want to do is after creating it, I'll create another thing which will just be quotes is equal to an array of these quotes. Just paste it in a bunch of quotes. Yeah. So now we've got an array of quotes, right? So now that we've got the array of quotes, I can actually do a for each on those quotes. So what I can do is I can say quotes dot for each, and I can take the quote and I can have it run my statement on the quote. There we go. And then we can finalize after that. So same sort of concept, I'm just making a fair few more quotes, that's all. Run the dev. Now if I just view all quotes, I have quite a few quotes. Now if I do a random one, there's more quotes to choose from. So that works a bit better. So we're building this out fairly straightforward. We could add the ability to add quotes and stuff, but for now I'm going to leave it at that, and then we can kind of think about, okay, now how do we make a front end? So think about this. Okay, so first thing I want to do is make an actual HTML file. I'll just call it index.html for now. And then we'll make the thing, we'll call it random quotes. Oops, quotes. see, I probably want some sort of style sheet at some point, so I'll say link CSS, there we go. Want some JavaScript, so script with source. And I want to defer that so it doesn't break the thing. So that should be fine. Now my body, I want to kind of have a container of some sort, so I'm going to make a dot container. Inside the container, I'll just make an actual heading, so h1. Let's say random quote generator. Let's see what else do I want. I want a quote container, so I'll make a dot quote dash container, and inside there I want a p tag with an ID of quote dot and quote dash text. Let's say. While we're waiting for a quote, we'll say it's loading. Yeah. And have a nice little button here. Let's say that that has a ID of. Well, actually, we can have a class. It's fine. Class of new quote btn or something for button, and then we'll say new quote. That's great. So, super simple, super basic. Let's just save that. Now I need to make a style.css file and a script.js file. So let's have a look. So we want to do some styles. What sort of style should we do? Let's make it super simple. Body of with a font family of something like, yeah, that'll do, whatever, sans serif of some sort. Let's think. I want a margin of 0 to start off with, and a padding of 0 to start off with, and let's give it a background color of, I don't even know, Azure. Why not? Because dot container. Let's say we have a max width of, let's say, 600 pixels, margin 1 pixels, auto. Let's think. We'll give it a background color. Just for a laugh, that can have background color white. Padding of 20 pixels. Maybe give it a border radius. Let's give it like 7 pixel border radius. Let's give it a bit of a box shadow as well. Why not? Box shadow of 0, 0, 10 pixels with a. Let's make it a black. Right, so with a little bit off opacity. So I'll do RGBA. 0, 0, 0 with a 0.1. So super light. You know, nothing majorly for this. Just something that's just very subtle. I think that'll do for that for the moment. Now, let's say the H1. We'll just do a text align center. What else do we want? We want the quotes container. Quote container. Give that a little bit of a bigger font size. So font size 1.2 rem. What else are we going to do? Whoops. What else have we got? We got quote container. We got new quote button, haven't we? Quote text. That was another thing. You know what? I want to give that of a 1.2 rem actually. container I can play about with and do another text align on that and stuff, but let's do this. Inside here I'll give it the text align center. Then I want a margin top of 20 pixels as well, just to kind of give it that. Right, okay, so we've got our quote text, we've got our quote things, we want a new quote button. So now I want a margin top, 20 pixels again. We'll make some padding. And a background color. Azure again, why not? And color white. Let's think. I don't particularly want a border on it, so border none. Let's give it a border radius though. Border radius of 5 pixels this time. Let's do cursor pointer. And I think that'll go that. When we hover over it, I want it to be a little bit different, so I'm going to say quote button colon hover, say background color of aquamarine, why not? Okay, so that's that. Now we also need some sort of, you know, ability to quotes and so on and so forth. So next, this is where we're going to do some script. So the script, I want to go, okay, I want to wait until the page is loaded. So once the content has loaded into the DOM, this is when I want to do something. So I'll add an event listener. So document dot add event listener, and the event listener is going to be, I think it's DOM content loaded. That takes a callback. Const quote text equals document. What was I going to say? Document dot query selector. What was it? Dot quote text, and then we'll say const new quote btn equals document dot query selector dot what was it, new quote btn. Let's see, so that's that. Now we can fetch a random quote. So const fetch random quote equals an async function of fetch. Well, it's not a fetch. We need to. Oh boy, async. So we're going to do a fetch. So we want to do that in a try catch block. So it's kind of const res is equal to await fetch. What was the can I do it with will it be localhost or what? What's the app? Because this is a bit weird because it's going to do kind of a proxy, isn't it? Ooh, actually, yeah, so I'm going to do literally that. 192.168.104.8443 proxy 3000. I think. Let's copy that one. That's the random quote, isn't it? Yeah, so here's the actual thing, what we're bothered about there. So it's doing the stuff. So I'm going to fetch that. Okay, so that's going to be the thing. And then our data is going to be equal to await res dot .json. Then if there's data and there's data text, then I'm going to set the quote text dot text content equal to data dot text. Okay. Otherwise, we'll say quote text dot text content is equal to failed to fetch quote. Okay, and then we'll do a catch. Any particular error. And we'll just do a console dot error, say error fetching quote colon, and then pass it the error. And then we'll do the same sort of thing as we did here in the else, just to kind of make sure we've got some feedback for the user. Then I need to add an event listener on the button so I can fetch random quotes. Let's try that. Where are we? That's there. That's done. So here's what I want to do. New quote button dot add event listener, a click event, and then I'm going to say fetch random quote. And then also I just want it to fetch random quote the first time round as well, just when the document's loaded. Right, so in theory I should be able to sort of run this as well. So if I go and add live server, see this thing. Once that's installed, let's see if we can do that. Go live. Open in browser. Random quote generator loading. So that's going proxy 5.5 thing, my dude, but it's not able to grab that one. Interesting. Whereas this one is. Is that still running? Interesting. That's a bit of an annoyance because that one's running on port 3000, but this one's running on port 550, so it doesn't seem to have access to that one. That could be a problematic thing, I guess. That's a problem with the general things. Because realistically, we're doing that. So let's have a look and see what it's actually doing under the hood. Let's inspect. Failed to load resource, so responding with 404 not found. Unexpected token. Oh, hang on a minute. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on the first line. So I must have done a typo somewhere. Where's it? Script. Document, blah blah blah, close. Oh, I missed out the arrow. So that's probably not a good sign. Let's refresh that. Failed to fetch quote. That's a better sign. So not perfect, but it's something. It's not found on that proxy for some reason. quote. Tried to do something and then it failed. It's not really telling us much other than it's not found. Why did it try and get 5server.js? That doesn't make any sense. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Don't know what the 5server.js was supposed to be. Maybe that's something to do with the live server thing, which is rather annoying. How about we don't do proxy? We just do. What does that do? Nope, that kind of breaks. that just gives me the workspace. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Interesting. So maybe 5server's no good. Let's take this away. Let's turn that one off, and I'll remove 5server if I can. Uninstall. Reload. Now if I go over here, do live server. Oh boy. The original live server. Let's see if this does exactly the same thing. It may just be an issue with the whole virtualization thing here. If it is, then I need to do a few other things later, but for now it's been an interesting sort of development so far. So now if I go to index.html and go live, still failed to grab the quote. I think there's some issues with this proxying what it's doing here, so that may be an issue over the time. But that's fine. So in theory we could be able to actually build this into some Docker containers and just do it that way if we need to. But that's fine. I just wanted to kind of get a feel for development process and stuff in this. I mean, I can do it locally easy enough. This was just having a little play with it. For instance, if I now make a new tab, and then what I could do is make go to GitHub, make a brand new repository, choose no now, quote gem, public, yeah, why not, create repository. Let's copy that. Control C. Yeah. Okay. Git init. Git branch -m main. Git add dot. Git commit -m. Initial quote gem. Oh, we've got to actually do the, oh, interesting. Oh boy. Git config global user.name git config global user.email okay, so I'm going to guess that will be a startup, I suppose. Commit initial quote gem. There we go. My problem's going to come when I'm trying to actually push this stuff, I think. So I need to add a remote. I need to publish the branch. Yes, connect. Don't have permission to look. No. Yes. Interesting. I'll try git push origin main. Please make sure you have correct access rights. Damn it, I'm going to have to make an SSH key. I'm going to do that off screen because I don't want to kind of be sharing public keys all over the place and stuff, you know what I mean? So let's generate a new key. Let's do that in the thing. There we go. Copy that. Go to my thingamadoodad and oh boy, settings. Emails, password authentication, SSH, GPG keys, new key. Okay. What was it called again? Add key. I've got to do multi-factor authentication as usual. There's my authenticator app. Oh dear. Verification. Is that added? Yep. Okay, so theoretically speaking, we should be able to move this back over here and do a git push origin main. And there we go, that's good. So now I've got to go and go to GitHub again. Go to my repositories and double check quote gen. And there we go, we've got our quote generator. Right. So now I can take that locally, go to projects, dev, and then go git clone that one locally. I can just run it locally instead. cd quotegen code dot I'm going to do a couple of things. So I need a terminal open. I'll split the terminal open with two terminals. I'm going to bring that out a bit. For this one, I'm going to do a npm I. For this one, I'm going to do a Python pacm HTTP server on port 8979 or something. I don't know, I'm just making up stuff here. Let's run that. I may have cause issues in a minute, but let's deal with them as and when they come along. npm run dev. crashed. Oh, interesting. Why did the app crash? I know why the app crashed, I think. I've already got stuff listening on that port, so I'm going to go and change the port. 3010. There we go, it's happy now. So that's running, that's running. So now what I can do is try and connect to that, open that. This one also failed to fetch the quote, but I think that may actually be because of cross origin. That's what I was expecting. That's good. Well, it's not good, but it's not bad. So what I can do here is, if I stop this for a moment, I can now go and do an npm install of cause. Then we can do a const cause equals require cause, and then we're going to do a, where's my app? Where do we start the actual, there we go. We can do a app.use cause. Like that. Run dev. Let's give that one more go. Still having problems. Why are we getting missing loud origin, block same origin, random? Oh, I'm trying to hit somewhere weird over here. Wow. Yeah, that's not good. let's try local. Yeah, okay, that's why. So let's go and edit the script. So instead of doing that, we basically need a local host. Colon, what did I say it was? 3010. Okay, that looks good. Is there any other, did I put anything else here? Yeah, let's just save that. Let's try that again. It's not found favicon, but that's fine. But why is it failing to get thingy? That's nothing to do with it. I mean, the favicon is irrelevant. That should make no difference whatsoever to it. So why is it not fetching the quotes? That's an interesting concept there. Perhaps I need a proxy on here. Something that's just very strange. We can do some diagnostics here. If I add another thingy, curl, don't want to do a post, I want to do a get. Well, actually, really, just going into a web browser and opening it, I suppose, works as well, theoretically. So if I hit seems to give me random quotes, fine. So I'm not too sure why the fetch is not working. Fetch random quote, localhost colon 3010 quotes random. So that shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to do a console log. Of data. Refresh. Gives me an array. It's never too late to be what you put. Okay, that's worked. So it's got data. It doesn't have data text though, because it's an array. Interesting. How about now? That's a little bit better. And then we got there. There we go. There was a slight issue that it's returning an array and not a single quote. Yeah. So I had to go to the data of 0 to get it. Yeah. So that's the problem what we got at this point, which is fine. That's just a little bit of a quirk. But it's understanding what the data comes in as that really makes the difference. So we've managed to like diagnose the issue there, and that seems to have gone through. There we go. Took a little while, but I don't really like that. Is that because it's in dark mode or something? I'm gonna open this up in this browser. There we go. Why is that not having it? Why is that happy but that's not happy? You gotta love it when it kind of does these weird, and that's very strange. But okay, so this is working on. So that's fine. Just doesn't like not having a favicon as well, but that's fine. This one's just really weird on the colours. Can we edit the extension? Do we have like a dark mode extension on or something? So that just looks weird. I don't know what it's doing. Settings. I don't know. It seems like it's a strange colour, but that's fine. So those are not the colours I was expecting at all. But yeah, so we're in a goodish place for now, I guess. Might just change the colours a bit because this is a bit strange. That's okay. So I think we're in a good place to finish up. What time is it? It's 1:30. It's looking good so far. Does mean we've got some things to update. Fixed for local server, we'll call it. Commit. Yes. That up and done. What else are we doing? That was the other thing. I want to do a little bit of CSS to kind of make this look a little bit more normal to my way of thinking. Style.css. That Azure is awful. I don't like it. Oh, that's why. Look how awful Azure looks locally. If I want the background to be dark, let's do a 333. Save that. Button as well, we're going to do something similar. And aquamarine will change to that. Why not? Refresh. There we go. That's a bit more like it. We've got a random quote generator that, yeah, I think we'll still have to do a bit of faffing about with the size and what have you, but that's fine, just as a general thing, I guess. Okay, so we've got a super basic quote generator done. I'm going to update the thing. Update styles, commit, yes. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed me just rambling on and messing about with some code and playing with stuff. So in this video or this stream, we've made a simple backend server that serves random quotes from a SQLite database. And then we made a little basic front end in HTML, CSS and JavaScript to actually grab those random quotes. Very, very simple, very basic, but it does the job and it works. If you want to look at the video on YouTube, I think it should be rendered soon, and I'll add some bits of links to these in the description, I suppose.